All right, so there's been an update to Crosswinds, a pretty big update, I say. We've been following this game for a little bit now, just trying to keep up to date on all the news here. So, 2 days ago, Bambino here in their Discord posted this thing. It might be hard to see, but it says, "Ahoy, mateys! Long time no see. It's finally time to share some updates from our team. We've always aimed to be transparent with you, and these changes mark a significant milestone in our journey ahead. Click here to continue." And when you click here, it brings you to the devlog 5 on their community page on Steam. And they've got a summer dev teaser and then a breakdown of some of the stuff that they are changing, which I think is pretty important. So we'll start off, we'll watch the dev teaser, and then we'll kind of go through this line by line, talk about some of the changes, what I think about them, and then, of course, opening it up to you guys, seeing what you think. So here we go. This is the summer dev teaser from the Crosswinds team. Like zombie pirates. Kind of like a Sea of Thieves thing going on. Wow. Looks so good. Oh, you got crew on the ship. I know it's cinematic. That looks like gameplay. And there's crew there. That wasn't there before. What the fuck is that? Flaming sword. Okay. A little magical element. Interesting. A lot of things. I'm worth 10 slackers on these islands. I don't change much from it. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. A little bit of teasers there. That's cool. Yeah, a couple different things I saw throughout that trailer caught my attention. Obviously, the crew being on there. I really like the art style of this game. It's like the perfect blend between Black Flag and like Sea of Thieves. It's got just enough cartoony, animated characteristics, but it's got just enough realism. I think it's a good balance that they struck here. Adding the crew, mentioned that. Yeah, the fighting here. It looks like you've got boarding. I just saw that, commence boarding. Okay, that's cool. This thing, I don't know what the hell this freaky fish frog is, but that thing's cool looking. And then, we saw some things about alchemy in there at the end when he was hiring this lady, whatever her name was, Mary Bullard. Potency, increase the chance to group legendary potion by 10%, increase yield of components from processed materials by 25. So it looks like they're adding a whole bunch of stuff in the game that we haven't quite seen yet. Different classes of people you can hire and all that kind of stuff. So that all looks good. But let's get back to the dev post because there's a lot of stuff in here. I've pre-read some of this and yeah, so let's start. Since the alpha ended, it may have seemed quiet on the surface, but behind the scenes, we have been hard at work. During this time, we've reviewed player feedback, analyzed playtest data, and reassessed our priorities. Today, we are here to share an important update about the direction of our project. Here's our teaser. We just watched that. The short preview offers a glimpse of what we've been working on. Among the highlights is the Ashlands, a scorched, dangerous biome with new secrets and treasures buried under the volcanic ash. It is filled with new quests, challenging enemies, and expansive dungeons and more. So I haven't got to play any of the alpha things or anything like that, and I've been trying to avoid watching any gameplay of it. But I do know that there are different biomes, and so having an ashland biome, I guess, a volcanic area, that sounds cool. Always good to have more diversity in the game. The seas are becoming livelier with visible crew on deck. We noticed that. Complete with new animations and recruitment mechanics. Water physics and behavior are also being updated to make naval part of the game more dynamic and immersive. Good. So it's not just like sitting on a plane just waiting to get somewhere. Like you actually have to do some more stuff. That would be good. Tortuga has been completely reimagined and is now a besieged outpost where the living hold defense against the dead. That sounds cool. And much more to come. We'll share details in future blogs. Okay, so they've been working hard on the game, adding new elements, adding some new variety. That's all always good to see. Winds of change. Let's get to the key points before we dive in and elaborate on each one. Number one, we are changing the genre focus of the game to a more traditional survival game with PvE co op as the main multiplayer component. Okay. Number two, we are changing the distribution model from a free to play game to a more traditional buy to play game. Interesting. And our goal now is to bring Crosswind to early access on Steam somewhere in 2026 as a solid, enjoyable survival game, which we can support with content and future updates on its way. I can see this second one being the more controversial one, but I've pre-read some of this, and I think it's actually going to be a good thing. Moving to classic co-op experience. When Crosswind first took shape, our core vision was a survival game built around progression through distinct biomes and bosses, enhanced by MMO-light elements. Players would have their own worlds to control with a PvE entirely in their hands, but it could also venture into shared zones for both PvE and PvP encounters. It was an ambitious blend in the early days, and it even referred to it as a survival MMO. In alpha testing, we highlighted several factors that made us change our vision. We faced some hard truths about the technical challenges of this approach. Supporting the kind of infrastructure needed for MMO, even if it's MMO-light experience, is a major undertaking, especially while aiming for the level of polish and quality we expect of ourselves. Providing stable, global server coverage and seamless large-scale multiplayer is a significant challenge for a studio of our size. That's true, man. Once you start like having to worry about PvP and MMO and all these different attributes and qualities and weapons and gear and all the different play styles and everything else that goes into it, the balancing aspect of that is just a nightmare on its own, and nobody is ever happy. So I think it's a smart decision. Like, I don't think they have a whole lot of games. I think last time we looked, this was the only game under this studio. I'm not saying that these guys don't have any experience making games, but to do something like that with this studio, it may not be possible to get it done well. And so I think it's a good idea to shift away. And really, I don't see like PvP games are fun. Obviously, we're getting ready to play Battlefield for like the next 5 or 6 hours. So I'm all about PvP and fighting other people, and I think that's one of the fun things about gaming. It's one of my favorite things to do. But on an MMO scale, like that sort of thing, and these types of games, it kind of ruins the experience. Like for me, like there were good times and bad times with Ark. Ark is a great example of like a survival MMO thing. Go play on any official Ark server. It's completely ruined. The experience is ruined. And a lot of that blame can be placed on the devs, but at the same time, balancing a game like that and making it work properly and having everything fun to play, it's a huge undertaking. And if Wildcard Studios can't do it, then I'm sure Crosswind would have just as hard a time. So I think for this genre game, I think this is the right direction. Focus on making the game fun to play with friends and that sort of thing, and just have the good elements in there. Then you don't really have to worry so much about balancing. There's always going to be things that can be cheesed or be OP or whatever. Those things are always going to exist, but make the core experience of the game fun. Here we go. More stuff from the alpha. At the same time, many players told us they were perfectly satisfied playing Crosswind solo or with a group of friends, enjoying traditional survival gameplay without large-scale online environment. Exactly. Another important observation was that the majority of our players came from a traditional survival game background. Their feedback made it clear that they value depth, pacing, and atmosphere over of that style over the structure of an MMO. Yeah, exactly. So I think for the type of game that they're trying to make right here, I think this was the right move. Taking both this feedback and our own limitations into account, we have decided to focus Crosswinds on a multiplayer PvE co-op rather than an MMO light. This means that you'll be able to play offline, host your own sessions, and run dedicated servers, and in the future, play with mods. Even if it's not directly supported, mods will at least be technically feasible. That's good. So they're already coming out of the gate and saying, you can go ahead and mod our game, make it better, add things you want to add. We're not going to stop you. That's the right direction to take. I think after all these years, people have finally come around to that conclusion that mods don't ruin games, they enhance them. even though I don't play with mods myself. PvP is not entirely off the table, but it will be a much, much lower priority for now. Implementing it properly will require a lot of effort that is currently needed to complete the core of the game. We remain open to exploring PvP in the future, but no commitments can be made at this point. Honestly, like that should be. I keep accidentally clicking out of this thing, but honestly, that's just the right way to go. Like having to worrying about balancing and player experience in all different classes and all those sorts of things. That's just such a pain in the ass. Like just make the game fun, and then if you really really want to have a PvP thing, I'm sure somebody can help you come up with that later. In summation, Crosswind will move forward as a classic survival game with PvE co-op at its core rather than an MMO light survival. We understand that this is a big change, but believe it to be a step in the right direction for Crosswind to be a fun, enjoyable game for you. While offline play, self-hosting, and dedicated servers will provide additional flexibility that was not feasibly technical in the old concept. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but okay. Again, like, and then that's the other thing too is like you can host your own server. So if you really want PvP and you really think you have a way to make it work, then you can add the mods and have your own server, and boom, you can make PvP feasible. But I think this is the right direction for them as a studio. Now let's get to the controversial one: buy to play instead of free to play. Another topic that frequently comes up in community discussions is monetization. Oh, isn't that true? For a long time, we've imagined that Crosswind could be free to play. However, we have always maintained that our priority is to first create a game worth supporting and then decide how players might support it. Now, we believe that the time has come to make that decision. After moving to a classic PvE co op approach and reviewing alpha feedback, it became clear that most of our audience prefer a one time purchase model. A free to play version would require monetizing multiple aspects of the game, which could be controversial unless strictly limited to cosmetics, and would also require a constant flow of monetized content. We have come to a we came to another hard truth. As a small team, sustaining Crosswinds as a live service game would take resources away from developing new features, expanding the world, and improving the core experience. In addition, the buy to play model has been a long staple of the survival genre. As fans of survival games ourselves, after getting the full picture with the genre shift in your feedback, the choice felt natural. This way, we can dedicate our time and energy to where it matters most, building richer gameplay, expanding the world, and improving overall quality. I love everything about this. Monetization is always a question that comes up with free to play games, because then you get those freemium games where like you have to pay to win and all this kind of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then most people say, well, we're okay with paying for things as long as it's only cosmetic and it doesn't actually affect the gameplay, and we're okay with paying for things as long as we can also unlock those things without playing, because for some reason we feel that we deserve to have whatever you have for free as long as we put in enough time into your game, then that means that we should earn it and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of entitlement in gamers these days. And so I think that their choice here to go from a free to play to buy to play instead is completely the right decision. One, I don't think that they could still offer cosmetics. They could still offer those things as a bonus add on if they really wanted to. That doesn't kind of prohibit them from doing that. But once you go to like a free to play model, there is kind of this obligation that you now have to come up with new content on a regular basis to keep the money flowing in, whereas you pay a little bit more money up front, like, and I can't imagine that this game's going to be more than $20 or $30 in early access for what it is, but you pay that little bit more money up front, and then you instantly have access to the full game or whatever it is. And then by the time they get to full release, it might jump to from 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 or whatever it ends up being. But I think that's the right way to approach it. Like they said, it kind of takes off that pressure system of having to build out new things frequently. And so instead of dedicating your time to building out new features for the game, you have to build out new cosmetics because people are expecting these things that really and truly don't add a whole lot to the game. They just make you feel better temporarily. Like I've played Overwatch for a long time, and all the skins and stuff, I think I bought maybe one or two skins out of there, but it's just a complete waste of money. Like you end up playing so many other characters and doing so many other things. I just feel like it's something that you buy as like an extra add-on to kind of stand out or whatever. And if this were like they were originally intending it to be like an MMO thing, maybe it holds more value. You feel more special that you've paid money for this special skin. But when you really think about it, that's all it really adds to the game. It doesn't actually add any more features to the game. It doesn't actually enhance the game in any real tangible way. It just makes you look cooler to some people. And in my view, when I see somebody walking around with a $20-$30 skin, I'm like, wow, you just got cucked. You took you got a bit, you spent a whole lot of money on freaking skins. Like that doesn't impress me. If anything, it makes me feel sad for you. So I think this is the right way to go. I mean, you guys tell me if you think I'm wrong about this, but I think they're smart to stick away from the live service game aspect of this. And like they said, buy to play, that's been the model forever. This whole free to play thing was a concept that in my view is just sort of like a trick by like these bigger game corporations like Ubisoft and EA and all these people. It's just a trick from them to get you to spend more money. Like, oh, we gave you this game for free, now let's charge you $20 for a skin, and before you know it, you spent more money on skins than you would have gotten or than you would have had to spend on the game itself. So I don't know, to me it's all just like a big marketing gimmick, and it's all like jumping on trends and stuff. They saw what happened with Fortnite, what is happening with Fortnite, and they thought they could capitalize on that. I think it's smart that more and more game studios, especially the smaller game studios, are moving away from this because they don't have the large teams that they can dedicate to continuously pumping out garbage skins and all this other kind of stuff, and they can really focus on what makes gaming fun, the actual gameplay elements of the game. So anyway, enough on that. Let's get to the last parts here. Our next big step, early access. Since the alpha, one of the most common questions has been whether we will move directly into early access. The short answer is no, not yet. While the alpha was a significant milestone, it did not reach the level of competence we believe an early access release should have. Thanks to you, we have received a large amount of feedback covering mechanics, balance, stability, and quality of life features. We believe addressing these points is a must-have for early access launch. For us, early access is the next major milestone, and we want it to feel substantial, polished, content-rich, and worth investing your time in. Not everything teased in the trailer is necessarily scheduled for early access launch, but you can expect more features and quality life of improvements compared to the alpha. The early access version will be larger than the playtest, and we will continue to expand it while taking your feedback on board along the way. We are currently aiming for early access in 2026, and the exact release window will be announced in a future update. Looking ahead, we understand that these changes may raise questions, and we're happy to address them. For now, our focus is on building a strong foundation that reflects what players value most in Crosswind as we set as a team that can bring to life the best quality possible. With your feedback and support, we are confident in creating a game worth your time. Yours truly, Crosswind Crew. So yeah, I think that's good. I went in the Discord and asked for myself to try to see if I can get. Nobody has any more information than that. Like, it's just going to be sometime next year that they're going to go into early access. I wish that they would say, we're aiming for spring, summer, whatever it is, 2026, or we're kind of looking at first quarter, second quarter, something like that, to kind of tell us a little bit more narrowed down about when it's going to be. I would like to see, before early access launch, I would like to see a beta. Doesn't necessarily need to be an open beta. It could be a closed beta. It could be whatever they want, but maybe like another stepping stone towards that, just as an opportunity for myself to try to play the game before it comes out, that kind of thing. That's a selfish request of mine, but I'm looking forward to it. I think they're headed in the right direction. You guys let me know. Do you think that them going from the free-to-play model to the buy-to-play model, do you guys think that that's a bad decision? Do you think it's going to hurt the game at all? I tend to believe that, yeah, it may tune down the overall numbers of people that are playing because you have to put money up front. But I think as long as they have a quality game that people can play, I think that that's really what's going to carry them. You can have a free to play game that's complete trash, and it won't matter that it's free. Nobody's going to play it. But if you have a solid, good game like they seem to be trying to put together here, then you'll have no problem making sales. And so I think that's the right direction. I'd like a little more clarity on when they're trying to come out with it, just so I can know when to schedule my playtime for it. But other than that, all the stuff that they teased in the trailer, the cinematics always look good. I think the aesthetic of the game all looks good. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about Crosswind. Are you excited to play it? Are you going to get it in early access? Are you going to wait for some kind of free trial or demo? What is your stance on the game right now? And do you want to see more stuff like this? Like, subscribe, all that stuff.